Hello.
Hi, Ann.
Hi, Courtney. Nice to see you.
Good to see you.
Nice to see you. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Hanging in there. Kids started school this week, so it's getting better.
That's good. You get a break?
Yes. Yes. Just everyone needs to stay healthy, and I'm all good.
Yes.
You know. Okay. We're going to give it a couple minutes. I think we got Miami Police. I'm going to give it a few more. Hello. I'm going to give it a couple more minutes. Give people a chance to join. Okay. Your Walt is on. Walt, can you hear me?
What's up, Ray?
Hello.
Hey, how's it going?
Give it a couple more minutes. Hey, Walt?
Yeah, hi, and can you hear me?
Oh, there you are. Yep, I can. Now I can. Just figured we give it another 2 minutes.
Okay, sounds good.
Let people join.
How we doing board member wise there?
We have 3 of us. We have Courtney, you, and myself. A few neighbors. Let's see here. Okay. Shall we get started, Walt? What do you think?
Sure. Why don't we go ahead and get started? Have the commander. We don't have a quorum, so once we finish this basic information, I think we're going to be limited.
Yeah, I'm hoping that a couple more board members will join. But we can get started with police update.
Everybody, how's everybody doing today?
Great. How are you?
Good. I just want to get you on. We had a stolen vehicle at 980 Belle Meade Island Drive nights ago. We made contact with the victim, who was a boyfriend who's staying there, visiting the girlfriend. He left the car unlocked and the keys inside the car. So we spoke to him already. We already forwarded the information to our auto theft detectives. We're following up on it. But just a reminder, guys, just make sure you don't leave your keys in your car and your vehicle's unlocked, because that one could have been avoided. So let's just try to practice that so we don't have any issues as far as any more cars getting into or being stolen.
This was a car theft?
Yeah, he doesn't live there. He was visiting his girlfriend. He was staying over the night, and it was an older 1988 Toyota Avalon, older model car, but he left his keys inside the car and unlocked. So, but yeah, we're investigating it. We already forwarded information to our auto theft detectives, so they're following up on it.
Got it. Okay.
Any leads from the guard gate or anything?
No, the camera that shows it wasn't pointing at it was actually showing at the guard gate, so we didn't get any good video from the gate.
Whoa,
Yes, hi.
what's going on? How you doing? So, the commander.
Great. How
Yeah,
are you
we-
doing, man?
Excellent, excellent. When we spoke to the victim, he stated that obviously at the entry point of Belle Meade, they only jot down the license plates of the vehicles as they come in. So, you know, that when they capture the license plate, it's going to show the victim driving into Belle Meade. Now, when you go into Belle Meade Island Drive, or when you go to the island side, the camera that they have there by the guard, the camera's pointed at the guard, it's not pointed at the vehicles that are coming in and out on the island. I don't know if that's something that you guys as a community want to address, adding another camera or changing the angle on that camera so that you can capture the vehicles and the drivers coming in and out of the island, and maybe institute or implement another camera at the entrance of Belle Meade Island. I mean, I'm on Belle Meade, I'm sorry.
Oh,
Well,
that's
wanna take
kind of
it?
weird.
Yeah, I don't know why the camera on, and I don't know, I think we have a little bit of connectivity issues here because my screen keeps going black. But just in case, so
We
yeah,
can hear you okay.
okay, perfect. So yeah, the guard gate, that the entering the island, they have the camera facing the guard instead of facing the vehicles.
Okay. I almost wonder if that's worth having a conversation with them. I wonder if that's by intent or something got changed or.
Yeah, I mean, we were like, okay, I mean, the victim actually told us that he actually had gone and done the walkthrough over there. So I don't understand why that would be. And I mean, what are the chances of adding a camera at the entry point of Belle Meade?
That's happening, but we can't we kind of want to keep that under wraps till next month. I'm sure we'll get a chance to meet with you beforehand and brief you on that. But before providing it to the community, we want to allow the Gargate company to introduce themselves and tell what's coming.
Okay, sounds good. Sounds good.
And Walt, just a quick note too, if you want, when you guys get that established, you guys could reach out, or you can have me reach out to Morningside, because they have a LPR, a license plate reader that they're using now. It's a system that is actually very good. And we could, as a police, we could have access to it. It's a little tricky in the beginning, but once it gets going, it's a pretty good system. And Morningside instituted that about a month ago. And we could see the vehicles coming in and out, and we can get their tag numbers. So that's something you guys might look into in the future.
Yeah, we that's already coming. That's part of this the new transition. So like I said, maybe we'll meet with you, brief you with the security guard company. I think they've already made contact with your agency, but I'll definitely put you in the loop so we can all be on the same page.
That'll be great.
Sounds good.
Any other updates from you all in terms of
No,
crime?
any questions from you guys?
That's great.
You guys are cutting out again there.
Yeah.
No, there's no more updates. You guys have any questions for us?
Yeah, Commander, did something go down at La Social the other night? Because I saw crime scene up there and trying to figure out what's going on.
Yes, we actually had an individual walking down the street in the morning. He gets a rock, throws it through the window, shattering it. He goes into the social, takes the register. The register had contained $200 in currency, and then the offender fled unknown direction. We had crime scene process the rock, process the scene. The owners showed up shortly thereafter. Yeah, they got burglarized and they got taken for the cash register that contained $200.
All right. I'm going to guess you probably did a security survey with them, because I thought that's what it was, but I wasn't sure, because when I went by, I saw the crime scene ducking under the window, and I really had to look, because you really couldn't see what was going on in the entrance there.
Yes, yeah. I have my our prevention specialist. She's already reaching out to them so they can go do a walkthrough and do a security survey and give them tips on how to better prepare themselves for any future incidents occurring there.
Okay, and just a quick question related to that. Post-COVID, are you guys doing the updates for the general public if any people have some concerns where they can have a site survey or get any feedback on their homes if it's everything's secure?
To do a security survey on private homes.
Yeah, I thought they were kind of doing a little tips program there for a while, where they were letting
Yes.
people know.
Yes, the same person that I'm utilizing for the social, the crimes prevention specialist. She
Okay,
can also do site surveys or security surveys on homes, businesses, whomever is interested. She's more than willing to assist in any way possible.
and is that the still same person? I think it was Miss Sweet that we were dealing with before.
Barbara Sweet?
No, Ms. Sweet is now working for the mayor's office. So now we have a new contact, which is her name is Rosa Fernandier. She works here out of the station with us. So I mean, any assistance that you might need or the community might need, just let me know, and I'll make sure to get that resource out there to you guys.
That'd be perfect. And by any chance, would she be able to be at our Zoom next month? Maybe she can introduce herself and kind of let everyone know what she does.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I'll forward the information to her. I mean, her hours are usually this late, but I mean, I can talk to. She doesn't work directly for me. She works for the station itself, like for all commanders. But
Okay.
I can get her schedule adjusted so that she can participate.
Okay, great.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. Anything else for police, Walsh? You have a question?
That's all I had.
Okay. Does any of our neighbors have any questions for the police?
Oh, one last thing, Anna. I'm sorry. We had that big debate on the Google group the other day about speeding again and people just being outrageous in the neighborhood. Any chance, Commander, getting motors back in here for a couple days? And I think we're past the education phase. Maybe we can just write some tickets there.
100%. Is the main complaint on 76th Street or other part of the neighborhood?
I think other parts in the neighborhood, but I think the biggest issue is 76 from 7th Court and 8th Avenue. And correct me, I think you guys were having a problem on the 7th Avenue on, what was it, 75th Street, I think it was, where everybody's blowing the stop sign there.
No, I think it's actually going onto the island. So 76 going toward Belle Meade Island. I think, and then that whole stretch all around that turns into Belle Meade Boulevard. There's
Okay.
no stop signs anywhere. And delivery drivers blast through there and I don't know, residents, construction workers, but that whole stretch of Belle Meade is a big problem too. Yeah.
Yeah, that was the previous complaint that we received was on 76th Street because of the lack of stop signs on that road going into the island.
Yes.
So yeah, I'll have my guys go there again and saturate the area and conduct them of enforcement.
And can I just make one more note for 6th Court? Typically in the afternoons, we get a lot of the traffic trying to blow through the Biscayne Boulevard. And they're using that little side street 6th Court from 72nd to 77th to fly through that area, and that's going to be a real tricky one there.
Okay, I'll have my overlap units see if they can conduct enforcement there and anybody blowing a stop sign or anything like that in that area.
I have a question if I can.
Yes, ma'am.
Somebody this morning mentioned in an email that there's some sort of illegal charter boat activity, and she was concerned because she says these boats are coming around the homes on the waterfront here. And I had noticed a group of people walking in the neighborhood. I saw them park their cars over on 7th Avenue on 77th Street. And they were pretty you know, different looking bunch of people than normally we see here in the neighborhood. So they drew my attention, like the women were wearing like the teeniest little thong bikinis that, you know, I'd ever seen. And they were just sort of walking along the streets in these teeny tiny thongs. And then they all headed into one of the big sort of almost vacant looking properties that are there. And, you know, it occurred to me, oh, they must be getting on a boat. And sure enough, a few minutes later, I heard some very loud music from a boat. So this has just sparked my curiosity. I'm wondering whether you guys have heard about any of this, and is this some illegal activity that's known to you? Because the neighbor who wrote about this wanted us to take pictures and report, you know, what addresses we had seen the people going into. And you know, that's fine, but I just, um, you know, I wanted to sort of find out whether you had heard anything about this or were aware of any kind of illegal charter boat activity.
Yes, we have heard of, or we have experienced a lot of illegal charter boat issues, more so with the jet skis than the boats. We have a full press on it. We have our Marine Patrol. They're out on the water every day, patrolling that area there. They're following up with all of these complaints. We have code enforcement also attacking or providing enforcement by land. We've made already several arrests for illegal launching of jet skis. We've made closed down several businesses already for illegal charters that are being conducted from places they're not supposed to. So that's something that has been ongoing, but we're aware. If you can provide us, but we are not aware of any houses being utilized for charters there in Belle Meade. So if there is an address that you can provide us, that'll be very, very helpful. And I could provide that to our Marine Patrol, and I could provide that to Code so that they can provide adequate enforcement both on land and in the water.
Okay, well, it was a while ago, you know, it was probably at least a month ago. And if I really, you know, I don't feel at this point, because I was just noticing the people, and then I sort of turned and, you know, I walked past, and then I turned and looked back at them, and I saw them on the property. But to be honest with you, there's several big semi-vacant one is completely vacant. Another one has a house way down at the end of it. And I can't say with absolute certainty now which of those properties they actually were walking on to walk to the waterfront. So I can't give you a certain address, but at least now I know that, you know, you guys are definitely monitoring this kind of stuff. And if I see anything like that again, I will make a note of the address and try to take some photographs and send them to you.
Yeah, just let us know, bro. You see that next time, just let us know, give us a call. And
Okay.
like that, build a case on it and follow up on it the next day or whatever.
Okay, all right.
I mean, nevertheless, I will speak to the commander for our Marine Patrol and let them know to be aware of that area there on Belle Meade, because they focus more on the island side, because we've received plenty of complaints on that side, but we've never received any complaints on Belle Meade side. So I'll make sure to let them know to also monitor and saturate that area.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Sorry,
Um,
can
you-
you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah.
Hey, sorry, just one thing back on the traffic thing. It's more kind of relevant to us at the moment because the kids are off school. But you know, people do drive fast in here, but in particular on the Monday mornings, I don't know who speaks to the people who pick up the garbage. They don't, stop signs don't exist for them. They blow around corners in these huge trucks. And it's just now our kids are out and about, whereas they're normally in school. If someone can keep an eye on that. I mean, some of them, they're even on their phones while they're driving their trucks, but that's the same with the neighbors in Belle Meade. Half the people who drive around are on their phones at the same time. So if you are going to do checkpoints for people just stopping or rolling over a stop sign, if you can just keep an eye out for those with the phones in their hand as well, that's probably the most dangerous, because kids are going around on skateboards, bikes, and people are driving around corners with their phone in their hand, and that's going to cause an accident someday.
Oh yeah, 100%. That's being experienced all over the country, actually. But yeah, we'll definitely let, if we're having that issue, if we're experiencing that issue with our solid waste, we'll make sure to set up a call with them or a meeting to let them know, to keep an eye or to educate their drivers. And then when we do the saturation there in the neighborhood, I also let the motorists know to provide some kind of educational component about, texting and driving, or using the phone and driving.
Yeah, thank you.
No problem.
Any other questions from neighbors for police?
No, I'd just like to say thank you guys. We really appreciate what you do. We know you always don't get the thanks, you just get the complaints, but we really appreciate what you guys do, and it's hard to stay on top of things up here with so much activity going on now, but we appreciate all the help you can give us here.
Thank you, Walter.
Thanks,
Appreciate
Walter.
it.
Appreciate
Thank
that.
Walt,
Thank you.
I second that. I want you to know that you all wake me up with the Ring camera because of your monitoring, and I love it. I can't thank you enough. So thank you so much for always keeping an eye on Belle Meade and the residents. I really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you. Have a good night.
Have a good night, guys.
You too. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, I believe we have Albert on call from the net office. Albert, you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Hi,
How are
how
you?
are you?
Good, good, good.
Do you have any updates on us, for us? Otherwise, I have a few things on my list here that I wanted to check in with you.
I think we received from our office issues again at 7301 Bayshore Drive, the house that's on the water, in terms of an Airbnb. So we're working on with that with code, and just to monitor it. I don't know if there was complaints from noise or music. It was just a potential Airbnb. So if there's any issues again with noise after hours, it's to call code after hours, so they can dispatch an inspector and catch whatever's going on during the time that the complaint is going through, so they can be issued a violation. It's got to be caught right. It's got to be, they have to capture it while it's taking place.
Mm-hmm, right. Okay. And then, do you have any updates for us on the issues at Legion Park? Like the community center renovation?
No,
imagine
just
time.
whatever what was at the meeting.
Mhm.
I think Legion Park, the boat ramp, I think they were talking about getting a vendor relatively soon,
Okay.
and then probably finish construction by 2022.
Okay.
That's their projected goal.
Beginning of
Other
spring.
than that, there's nothing except from that meeting that went on. I do know Bayside Historic or Bayside Association is having a meeting July the 7th at Legion Park, and one of the topics will be the seawall by the Army Corps. So I don't know if anybody wants to go just to listen into it. And
Tell me again the day and time.
it's July 7th
Okay.
at Legion Park, and it's at 7 o'clock. You could just send me an email and I could, forward that
Okay.
page that I got today. And one of the topics is gonna be the seawall.
Mm-hmm.
And I believe was it right after the Legion Park meeting, I received a phone call from Hardiman's office and from Dade County Resiliency to share his concerns that some of the things that was discussed on regards to the seawall are not fully accurate. So he wanted to go to one of the meetings next time, so he can discuss, what is actually going to be taking place in terms of the Army Corps, what they want to do.
Mm-hmm. Right. Got
So
it.
there's no confusion.
Right.
Would you let us know when that happens? Because I'm very interested in being able to follow any developments on that.
Well, what I'm gonna do is that July 7th, I'm going to forward it to Commissioner Hardeman's office, so she could share that with the Dade County Resiliency, who's overseeing this project. So hopefully somebody will come out and discuss that topic, since it's going to be on the agenda.
Got it.
Okay.
And then,
Are we all invited, or is that just an internal Bayside meeting?
I will send it tomorrow, and then if anybody knows anybody from the association, you could email them and ask them if you can just go there and listen.
Right.
I don't think it'll hurt.
I think I can do that. The president, we can find out. Okay.
Yeah.
And then I guess at the same location, the boat ramp, do you know what's going on with the boat ramp?
At Legion Park?
Yeah.
Well, I just there should be picking a vendor
Okay.
relatively soon, by the summer, and then go into negotiations with the vendor. That's how it works. And then they go into the project itself.
Got it. Okay. So it just takes time.
Yeah.
And then the only other thing, and maybe Walt knows more, is the parking at Legion Park was another issue that we were trying to work on, the paid parking now. Walt, do you know anything?
Yeah, that was a pretty hot, I guess it was a pretty hot topic. I know Angel Diaz was there, and I believe the CEO of MPA was supposed to be present, and she didn't show up. She was basically left Angel Diaz there to fend for himself. But in terms of, I don't have any update on that from that meeting on what they're going to do. But I believe it's going to be an issue that has to be pressed forward to get anything done, which it happened years ago under Commissioner Sarnoff.
Wait, the parking?
The MPA signs.
Now that's Albert. I'm not sure if you remember. We're talking two different issues. You have the stuff that happening on the opposite side of the boulevard, and then the issues that happen around Legion Park. Those are all recent developments around Legion Park.
You're talking about the parking?
The parking signs, the signage on along 7th Avenue and I think it's 63rd Terrace.
The narrow street.
Yeah.
Yeah, Angel said they were going to look into how they could work into some kind of parking there. I know that's I believe that's near Adele Phase 2, behind the lot there. So I think they were supposed to start construction sometime at the end of the year. So even if they put something temporarily there, construction will start sometime later this year, because I think they're starting to pull permits for that.
Okay, I had to leave that meeting a little early for a family emergency, but I thought that those items were separate and distinct, and they were going to address both of those issues. Is that not?
Yeah, they were gonna, yes, both separate items, and both will be addressed, exactly, because they both belong to MPA.
All right, but the director for MPA,
the CEO wasn't there. I didn't forgot her name. I never met her, but the CEO, but the deputy director of operations was there, which was Angel Diaz. So he just absorbed the answers or the questions or the concerns from the residents, and was going to bring it back, I guess, to her, since she wasn't there. So I'll follow up with Angel and see where they are with that actually this week.
Okay, thanks.
Okay. Anyone else have any questions for Albert?
I do want to, I do want to share. I believe there was a resident, 75th Street, I believe. I don't know what avenue, but she had some tree limbs touching the power lines and the lines, and she thought it was City of Miami. If anybody sees any, any issues of that nature or their own property, just to email me. Most of the time it's not City of Miami. Most of the time it's FPL and actually the cable companies. So they came out like 2 weeks later and they cut the tree limbs that were touching those lines.
Yeah.
So again, just to share that with anybody, if anybody sees that foliage, just to let me know.
Albert, I can give you some background on that. That is FP&L, and they're here for this this project mostly with our neighborhood, but I think they're focusing on this in the Upper East Side. And I provided your information to Janet Blanco, who's the representative for FP&L. She should have reached out for you because those tree crews are going to be in this this area here for at least the next month because they got a lot of work to do.
Okay, perfect. Okay, that's good to know. Remember, it was twofold. In that property, it had FPL and Comcast.
Okay.
So it could, we don't know the lines, but once if you have the information or the property, I'll always go by, take a picture of it and send it to my contacts in FPL. And then they disperse it out. They're pretty good with that.
Okay. All right, perfect. Just so you're aware, I'm going to send you her information again because she's kind of spearheading everything that happens up here. And what I found out with FP&L, because they're so huge, they got so many branches, and it just gets convoluted if you don't deal specifically with her, because she's in charge of all those crews that are out doing the work. So they're going to be knocking on doors. They're going to be in people's backyards. They're replacing poles. They're replacing lines.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah.
Because I think the FPL, Hema Bustamante, she's the FPL rep that works with the City of Miami. So it's good to know, this new contact, so we could always make sure that something that's not being done is taken care of.
Yeah, citywide, your other contacts may come in helpful for you, but this lady is specifically dealing with the Upper East Side and the issues that we had. Specifically, we had some issues on 72nd and 73rd where we were having power issues, and they've committed to pretty much restoring all of our lines within this whole neighborhood, but they're focusing on those areas right now.
No, that sounds good. Perfect. And just another update. I know it's not Belle Meade, but it's right across Belle Meade. I think it's Celine Gold Rush Hotel. We had some complaints coming from some of the constituents that noise level was raising. We found out they're doing parties by the pool, but they don't have entertainment permit for that. So we basically had they only had a permit for the hotel and for the restaurant, but not for live entertainment. So again, if anybody hears of that or noise, just to let our office know and we'll address it. Again, sometimes it's at nighttime. They were advertising parties, on the corner with A signs, which is we don't allow A signs on the streets, on the right of ways. So if anybody sees those as well at nighttime or anything, just to let our office know and send me an email.
Okay. Will do. Great. Any other updates from anyone? Questions? And thank you, Albert, so much.
All right, thank you so much.
Joining
Let
us.
me know. We'll talk soon about the signs. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
All right, bye.
Bye. Okay, next on the list, I have any neighbor questions or concerns? Anyone wanted to bring up something at today's meeting before we move on? Okay.
Is Grace still on? Grace Lopez?
I see
Yes.
Grace. Grace? There she is.
Sorry. Yes, I am. I
Hey,
hate it
Gra-
when I'm on mute and I can't say anything.
Hi, thanks for joining in with us tonight. Just wanted to bring you up to speed. I sent you an email earlier in the week letting you know that we were going to terminate our relationship with Ms. Gonzalez regarding some issues we had with the way the cat colony program was being addressed or handled. So I don't know if you guys had a chance to look over that and think if your organization may be able to help, or if you had any concerns, because I think we're going to step away from that project for now, because it wasn't as clean and as simple as we would have liked it to be.
Yes, Walton, thank you for bringing that up. Women for Paws is also stepping away from that project because we had an initial meeting with Ms. Gonzalez, and I feel that we've done our part in distributing the funds that, 5 of our neighbors gave, funds to Women for Paws. So we, in return, gave her the funding. I feel that it was, enough funding. So Women for Paws can only assist individuals that are in financial need and are going through a hardship that they cannot pay their bills for pet food and vet bills and such. And for that reason, Women for Paws, I sent an email to the entire Belle Meade group, and also I put it in the chat. I don't want any part of that anymore. I offered to volunteer, and that was my extent. And after meeting several times, I felt that, I had done as much as I could. So I'm not a part of it. I, of course, care dearly for the animals at Belle Meade. I care for this neighborhood. I care for the doggy park, and I will continue to fundraise and of course, give money to the pet fund for the homeowners association. But I agree that, that funding should go to people that are truly in financial need and are deciding whether, to keep an animal or take an animal to a shelter. So for that reason, Women for Paws is out.
Okay, perfect. I guess the only solution at this point is maybe ask for some neighborhood volunteers who are interested in helping out, because for the same reasons, we're going to kind of step back away from that, because we don't want to do it for the same issue. So we'll just leave it at that.
Yeah, so, if there are still too many stray cats roaming around, I would hope that we can gather the community volunteers that were stepping up for this project to keep trapping and doing all that. So I'm just gonna, hope that maybe Roberta can pipe up if there's still a lot of cats out there, and it can be handled, through the volunteers, and obviously the pet fund is here to help. For those types of things as well.
Just out of curiosity, and do you know what the final number was that were supposedly rescued? And
I don't know. I was taken out of the cat colony chat, but I do want to take this opportunity to mention Myra Gonzalez, who's on the phone, who's Chloe's mom. That I want to thank her for stopping by. As she was walking her dogs, and thanking me personally for all the work that I had done personally, and also Women for Paws. So I just want to credit her for that, because she was gracious enough to thank me. So I know that the efforts that have been put forward from a lot of our neighbors has come through. So, but I don't have any stats. I don't know. I was taken out of the cat colony chat.
Gotcha. Okay.
Okay. Can we move on from this topic? I guess we don't have a quorum, but I wanted to bring it up, and then maybe we can put it out for vote later on. But Frank Rollison is planning and plotting his next truck going through the neighborhood for July 4th. He purchased a little fire truck. And he wants to give out ice cream or popsicles for July 4th, and was asking whether the HOA would support that financially. And we do need to vote on that, but I wanted to bring it up. And so we'll try to get a vote on that perhaps through through an email, that we can decide to support him financially on that. That's only 2 weeks away, so.
I have a question for you. This is Cindy. Things like that are wonderful. I think they're a great add-on for the neighborhood. And as a neighbor, I would certainly love to donate specifically to that cause. Do we have the ability to take up a special donation, like to help when Frank does his truck, or there's something similar to that?
Yeah, I think they always have that option because as long as you write a check to the Belle Meade Homeowners Association, and whatever you put in your comment section is where it's going to be applied, because we have some people that make a landscape donation, some make a donation for the pet fund, or some just for membership. So you always have an option of doing that, and or you can deal with the person directly, but you can always do that through the homeowners association.
All right, so the movie is in theaters Friday, and Ludacris says it will literally be out of this world. The cars are.
All right, Patty, I'm muting you. There's too much noise going on. Cindy, did you want to say something else?
No, that's it. He answered my question. So thank
Okay,
you so much.
perfect. All right. I'm gonna unmute Patty. Patty, were you gonna say something? Sorry, you need to unmute yourself again.
Okay. Unfortunately, my Zoom disappeared in the middle of the conversation about the cats, and my friend Frances Siegel was in touch with somebody regarding this. She does that sort of thing in
Yes.
Miami Shores with the Pet Trust.
Yes, that's actually, she's been in touch with me. She's helped me in the past, and I forwarded her information to the group of volunteers that were involved. So
So you don't know how many cats you did trap, because I guess she came over, but there weren't even any traps out. She came so early.
Yeah, right. But she's helped me in the past, and she's been great. And that's something that I discussed last time. That for sure.
What is your name?
My name's Anne.
Okay, thank you. You're the one who sent me the email. I looked and I see the last time I was at a Belle Meade Homeowners Association meeting was in February of 2020.
No, yeah.
I remember seeing you there.
Yeah,
Yes.
I came in person, but.
Yes, thank you.
Okay,
yes, I will.
Sending me a notification. If you keep me updated, I would appreciate it.
Always, yep. I always send out emails and updates and meeting minutes. But Frances's information I have, and I've given it to neighbors whenever there was a stray cat issue, because she's been very helpful in the past for me too.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And there was another lady, Stella, that helped trap Tiger.
Yes.
So she actually works with cats on Miami Beach. She was more than happy to volunteer and help us with our efforts in this neighborhood as well.
If what we can do is we can put that on our pet stray fund memo, those two contacts that are able to help with traps and transporting animals. If you can reach out to her and see if that's okay for her, that we put her information down, and then you can give me that information. I'm happy to update the pet fund memo that we have and circulate it back out to the neighbors.
Perfect.
And I just want to take a quick second to just remind everybody, because they were asking about sending out the links and everything, but the links for the Zoom meeting are on the website. Hannah's going to try to do something to make it a little more visible, because all you got to do is click the click here button on the website, and it'll take you to the Zoom meeting. That way people don't have to remember the link or anything.
Yeah, and I tend to always send out the link in the emails through the WhatsApp group. So I'm trying to make it as easy as possible for people to see. But yes, having it on the website is an additional step to make it easier. I agree. So we talked about this. Does anyone have any other?
Deborah has a comment.
Yeah. Hi. And well, talking about the website, I was wondering whether you could also post. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. I was wondering whether you could also post a copy of our association bylaws on the website, because they're not there. You know, whatever the most current copy of our bylaws is. I think that would be a helpful thing to have there in the HOA section. You know, so that.
Hey, baby. So I've been inside the meeting while I was driving to the house, and I'm still in it. Do you want to join in still with me, or
Can we
they're
mute
making
that
comments right now?
Hello, I think that everybody just heard
Oh,
what you
okay.
told your baby.
I just muted someone because I wasn't sure that they were talking to the meeting.
All right,
But-
and Deb, just to
Yeah.
answer your question, that thing has already been resolved. I scanned the bylaws this week, and Hannah should have it up on the website under the FAQs sometime in the next few days.
Okay, well, that would be great. And so that brings me to my next, I guess it would be a proposal or prior to making a motion. And that would be that I'd like to propose that we actually try to make an amendment to our association bylaws that would basically ensure that the situations like what happened, you know, last month with the guard gate, that those sorts of situations which cause so many problems here in our community, it would hopefully stop them from happening. And that would be to amend the bylaws with a provision that would basically speak to the duties and the powers of the board of directors. And this would be an amendment that's very common in homeowners associations like ours. It's a little extra step that associations commonly take when the membership wants to ensure its right to participate in major decisions which impact the community, like non-routine matters. So if you give me a minute, it's only a few sentences, but I'd like to just read the wording or some suggested wording for an amendment, and then maybe everybody could talk about whether this is a good idea or not, whether you
What I'm going to suggest is, if that's something that you want to address, we put it on the agenda and we'll discuss it next month when we have the full board here.
Okay, no problem. You know, it would simply, you know, be an amendment which would give the board its normal usual powers, but just, you know, with the exception of actions which significantly impact, you know, and then community parks, common areas, roadways, infrastructure, and the Belle
Okay.
Meade Special Taxing District. But definitely, I can send you the proposed wording. We don't have to adopt it at the next meeting. I just wanted to throw it out there as something which I think might help, so that we never have to face another situation like the one we've just been through.
Well, if you want to send an email with your wording, we can take it into consideration.
What was the problem that you're communicating about with the gate? What happened to the gate?
We got a new guard gate company, Patty.
Well, yes, I was told that by the lady that I always talk to when I come in and out, which is sometimes not even once a week. It just, you know, lately. But she did say, and then she had a new uniform on yesterday, so I know.
Right.
The problem from my perspective was that the community was not provided with appropriate notice
Well,
of the change or an opportunity to
that is your opinion,
participate.
and we're not going to bring that up at this meeting. Again,
Yeah.
we have an
Well,
agenda we're addressing.
Definitely true. But I really don't know what difference it makes.
Okay, Ann, do we have, if they have nothing else, can we
Yep.
go on to the next item?
Let's move on. Joe is raising her hand. Joe, did you want to bring something up?
Well, I just am going back to the cat thing. I'm not really clear why it says you're not doing it anymore. Are all the cats taken care of? It was too much money. It was, you didn't get along with somebody, or you know, it's not really clear why, because the cats, I believe, are still there. You know, so are we just gonna leave it, or? You know,
Well,
I don't.
I can answer some of this, I guess.
Huh?
I can answer some of this. Grace or Walt, do you want to answer? I know
Well,
that the adult stray cats were probably returned, right? They were spayed or neutered, maybe revaccinated and returned to the colony. That's typical TNR. And the kittens, we don't know what happened to the kittens.
I mean, like all of them were done, you mean? It's pretty done, you mean?
Oh,
Or
no.
no?
Well, Joe, to make it simple, there were some issues with the volunteer program that we had to spay and neuter the kittens. There were questions about whether the animals were being properly adopted, being made available for adoption to other people. Also, there were questions and concerns whether people were being paid to do this, i.e. people that live within the neighborhood.
Yeah, but
And
were
that
they, or they
violates-
were not, or were they paid? Were they not paid? Were they, and those are not issues that you could talk to the person about and fix? Because I feel it's an issue, the cats, you know.
It
and
is.
So I
they're
can
just gonna leave
chime
it,
in.
huh? I'm sorry.
I
No,
think
this
we
is,
have Peter.
go ahead, Walt.
I think this is Amy. Amy, you want to chime in?
Sure. So I feel, and you know, my knowledge is not entirely complete, but I am following it on the cat colony WhatsApp, because I did bring it up at the agenda and I feel that I should. So I know Chloe has been updating everyone. One of the, there was, I think, maybe two issues. One is that she successfully raised quite a bit of money on her own, which is a good thing to, you know, do her project. She has been updating, I think, some of the kittens. I don't have a count, but I know that she was posting some photos of the adults, and some of the kittens were placed with an agency, I think in New Hampshire. But I know that I was made aware that there was an issue with a neighbor that really wanted to adopt one of the cats. And also that, just, you know, from the perspective of donors and people that are supporting it, it was very well funded for what the expenses were. And so I don't, you know, I think Chloe was, you know, has done the work. I don't know the completion, but I also, you know that many of us feel like, as far as funding and things, I think she's kind of set on expenses and everything else. She was able to secure facilities that don't charge anything.
Just figure something out.
I don't know who this is. Sorry, Amy.
So is she gonna continue doing that, or nobody's gonna do it? I'm not clear.
No, I think she's continuing, and you guys help me chime in. I mean, I've only been staying up with it based on the cat colony, so the cat colony chat. So I think she is continuing to place the kittens. I think that most of the kittens are going to a charity up in New Hampshire for adoption. And as Anne said earlier, and Walt, I think a lot of the adults are coming back here.
But why would she
Not
send
sure.
the kittens to another organization out of state when we had several residences in the neighborhood, including myself, that wanted to adopt these poor kittens?
Well, that was one of the things that became, you know, an issue. And I think some people spoke to Chloe one-on-one about that.
So
And do you
can
know
it
what
be
came out of that?
resolved by talking to her and then having her continue? Because it's still an issue, I feel like, you know, I'm probably missing something, but you know what I mean? Like somebody can't correct
So
what
Joe,
happened?
this is Grace. So just to clarify, this was all along, this was a project crafted by Chloe, and this is Chloe's doing. I don't know what the status is. I know that there's adult cats that need to be trapped, they need to be fixed, they need to be neutered. It's a huge situation because they're male cats. I see them. I don't know what the status is. If you have any questions related to that project, because she took it upon herself, We offered about 7, and you were one of them, 7 members of this, Belle Meade Homeowners not a Homeowners Association, but neighbors offered to help her. And she was very clear that she didn't want any help, that this was all on her.
Yeah.
And she wanted to get paid for her time. So I feel that instead of asking the question here at a large group, I think you should ask her personally, because I have no clue what the status is or if she's going on with the project or not. All I know is that last year she took care of 18 cats, and she did it out of her own willingness, and she did it out of her own time, and she didn't expect any monetary rewards for it. This year it was a little bit different, and anyone is able to put out a GoFundMe page. And I just wanted to make sure that everybody understood that a GoFundMe page or anybody's GoFundMe page is not a nonprofit, it's not a charity, and it's definitely not associated with Women for Paws. So if you have any questions, if I may, Joe, I love you, I really do. I think you should ask her. I don't know what the status is.
I get it.
Unfortunately,
Thank you. Yeah,
unfortunately,
I
if this
understand.
is not taken care of, we're going to have to pick up the ball whoever dropped it off.
Okay, thank you.
And I'll just say that, and so you guys know, so all the kittens got fixed this week. Next week, they get their last shots. If they pass a health check this Monday, they will be able to go to a great rescue organization called Darpster Kitty, who sends them to New Hampshire. I'm skimming, I'm not reading word by word. She wants to make sure the kittens go to an organization that would only adopt them out to great, properly suited homes. As for the adult stray cats, catching them has been going slowly.
Sorry, does that make sense to you whenever you have willing and able residents that want to adopt the kittens?
Yes,
I was willing to pay for everything myself.
My opinion is no. I was disappointed in that, to be honest. I was very much.
How many cats are you talking about? How many kittens are there?
I thought there was 7. I once remember hearing about 7.
Really?
But I'm
Yeah,
not.
and Patty, you know that, I wanted to adopt one of the kittens. There was also several other neighbors that wanted to adopt the kitten.
And where are they? Where were you seeing them? Because I
volunteered to foster 2 kittens for her.
And nobody gave them to. Wouldn't let you have them.
No.
And she said they were your property, Patty. So I don't know if that's.
What?
She said they were your property.
My property? I don't even have any kittens on my property.
No, I think Patty, this Patty is a different Patty. Patty, where do you live?
I know there's a woman named Patty who lives around the corner behind me, next door to Michelle Bernstein, but I'm not.
This is a different Patty.
I'm the Patty that lives on 73rd Street, and there are 3 cats that wander in my yard every day. They have collars on, and they come from across the street from me, from a yard where there's an elderly man in a wheelchair, and he has a caretaker, and they're fed over there. And anyway, they come and sit in my yard in the morning. I notice they all have collars on now, but they've been around for years, and they were spayed and neutered long ago when that family on 73rd Street at Belle Meade Boulevard took them from a whole bunch that were actually born in my backyard, probably 6 or 8 years ago. I don't know, a long time ago. These cats, they're all female, and they're all spayed long ago.
Got it. Okay, different Patty. Sorry about that.
Yeah, well, I'm Patty Paxman.
I don't know the.
I've lived here since 2000, and I've had a house here since 2003, but I've actually only been living back here since 2011.
Okay. Amy, thank you for the update on this.
I've got peacocks, though, that came out of nowhere.
Right. Like I said, I would hope that if there are still stray cats running around that area, that we can mobilize, if needed, the volunteer group that was already willing to help with this project, and continue to try and take care of it.
So this is not a city thing that takes care of the cats?
No, they will rent you traps, and that's about it. But when it comes to the actual hands-on work, that's all on you. Okay, if it's okay for everyone, we should move on. Does anyone else want to talk about this, or can we move on from this topic?
I would like to make a comment, please.
Sure, Mrs. Myra.
Yes, I'm Chloe's mom.
Mm-hmm.
And I just wanted to let Courtney know, I really hope you can recover from this. And Anne, I wanted to let you know that while Courtney had you on the phone, my daughter overheard you say she was crazy when she was trying to get the kid. And
All right,
I just really would like to
Go
say,
ahead and mute her. I don't think this is a proper.
This is not a
forum
forum
for
to discuss this.
Yeah.
you are both HOA board members, and you should be held to a higher regard than that.
And she was lying.
hope you
And
guys-
I'm going to end this conversation now. She was lying to Courtney about who was making decisions on these cats, and she said the HOA was making decisions where these.
All I have to
cats were going, and
say,
that was
Anne,
not true.
is you should be held to a higher standard. And Courtney,
And go ahead and mute her.
all the best to you.
Okay.
Heavens.
All right, and let's move on to the next agenda item. I think we spent too much time on this.
Yep.
This is,
Agreed.
we're not able to resolve these problems here, and we have to move on.
Correct. Okay. Updates from the board. Updates from the board I have is Matt's not here to give an update, but everyone knows the new guard gate company took over. The guards at the gate are all happy with the change. We're currently waiting to have some cameras installed, and we're hoping to invite the company next month to the meeting so that they can introduce themselves and we get to know the people who run the company.
What is the name of the company, please?
It's called Security Alliances.
Security what?
Alliances.
Okay.
It's the same company we had here about 10 years ago.
I thought we had Kent. That one.
No, Kent was never one of our vendors, but it's Bill Murphy from, he was formerly 50 States, and then they got bought out and sold, and it went through a couple different transactions. And we managed to keep the same guards through all of that process.
Yes, I noticed that. I'm glad about that.
Yeah, so we negotiated and we're able to hang on to our guards, and they'll be presenting next month. So stay tuned for the homeowners meeting next month. The new company is going to introduce themselves, tell you about all the great things that are coming our way. I'm sure if you've spoken to the guards, you saw the guards are happy. They're very glad the transition went the way it did. And I don't think there's anything else we can say until you hear from the company and speak with the guards.
So we'll hear from them in the next meeting, do you think, Walt?
Absolutely. We got an email back late today from Matt, who is our point person for the security, and the owner of the company contacted him, let him know that they're going to present to us next month, and they're also going to have some answers as far as the camera installation, the time period for that, and some of the
We've
other.
never had cameras here before, have we?
No, but that was one of the things that we really were pushing for. And it'll just be at the entrances for now, but that'll give us a level of security, and we'll be able to see who's coming and going when bad things happen.
Right.
Okay, any other questions about this?
Yes. Hi, Walt and Anne and everybody else. Hope
Hi,
everybody's
Mario.
doing well. I just wanted to make a point about the guard gate. One of the guards who's one of the newer guards, I only saw him a couple of times. I liked what he was doing. He actually got out of the guard house and stood behind the car, taking down the tag and made them wait while, basically doing his job. I think it's become a little too routine for our guards. I love Rhoda, Jason, everybody. But they just sit inside the gate, and I see them as soon as a car pulls up, they just open it up and just let them go by.
Well, they know it.
I know they're, excuse me?
But they know certain people, so they don't want to tie it up. I mean, I stop and speak to them sometimes, but They probably just have my license plate on a record or
I'm
something.
not referring to you or to residents. I'm referring to everybody. I'm referring to plumbers. I'm referring to
Yes, that's what should
absolutely
happen.
everybody. Yes. I
That
mean,
was
most residents like myself, I just use my clicker and go on the other side, right? But I'm referring to absolutely everybody. And I saw this new guard. I think his name was Carlos because I asked him his name. He got out of the house, out of the little guard gate house, and stood behind the car while a couple other cars were waiting, took down the tag, and then lifted the gate. You know, if we could add a little bit of that, I think that adds a little more, you know, seriousness to the fact that you can't just come in here and do whatever you want. I don't know. I just thought I'd bring that point up. If we can discuss that with a security company, I think that adds like a little extra something to, you know, to deter people from coming in here and thinking they can just waltz through the.
Yeah, I think that's what they were supposed to do anyway. I remember that discussion.
But they don't do it. This is the first time that I've seen anybody actually get up and get out of the, you know, out of the little guard gate house and do it. You know, so if we could ask our guards to do that, you know, it adds a little more oomph, I think, to the job and to, you know, into our
the security we're paying for.
Yeah.
Okay, great. Hey, Mario, thank you for bringing up that point. I'm hoping you'll sit in on the next meeting where we meet with the owner of the new company, and he's gonna address, kind of give you an overview of what they're going to be doing. And I hope you'll bring that issue up and make sure that maybe that's a retraining point or a reemphasis that they'll bring to the rest of the guards, because that's going to be who's implementing what we'd like to see. So I don't think you're going to have any issue getting that addressed, but we need to bring it up at the proper form. It's glad that you let us know, and we'll make a note of that. But the best place to bring that up is when we meet with the new owners. They bring in the management team, and you'll get to speak with the people that are going to be making those decisions and managing those people. So we'll be able to get that to happen.
Absolutely, we'll be glad to.
Okay.
Also, I'd like to bring up an incident that happened to me yesterday, and I posted it on the security chat, and Anne knew about it and texted me.
Yes.
Driving in through 76th Street, a car passed me speeding like a bat out of hell on 76th, passed me. I don't know if you guys ever have had anybody literally pass you flying by because you're apparently driving too slow, and then just, you know, flew by the stop sign without even stopping. I followed the car. It made a sharp turn into Belle Meade Island, and then stopped practically in the middle of the bridge and just parked the car there. I stopped right next to the car, and I see this woman getting out of the car, and I go and confront her about it, and she doesn't even pay attention to me, doesn't even acknowledge my presence. I was just asking her, why were you speeding, and why did you pass me, and why didn't you stop at the stop sign? And nothing. Turns out she's one of the guards at the Belle Meade Island guard gate house.
Right. Mario, I don't want to cut you short, but we're going to be limited on time here. I did see your post, and I'm not sure how long you've been on tonight, but we addressed that with the police earlier in the meeting, and they're going to be coming out to do some enforcement in the area specifically because of that complaint. And some of the other people in the neighborhood have had a similar issue. Safety is always important to all of us. So they're going to be out here. They're going to do some enforcement, and hopefully that's going to slow people down so we don't have a tragic incident to deal with here.
I agree, because that was and it's happened more than once, but the fact that it was one of our guards, and I even called Allied, I left a message, nobody called me back. But anyway, thank you. Yeah, I haven't been on the whole time, so thank you.
Okay, well, perfect. Like I said, we hope to have it addressed, and we're going to have officers out here in the next, I'm going to guess in the next few days. The commander's been real good about getting them out when we needed it. So let's watch and see. And if you don't have the results that you want, just reach out for us, and I'll give him a little call to prod him to get those ulcers out here.
Sounds good. Thank you, Walt.
Okay.
Next topic, beautification. We don't have Larry here, but I just wanted to let everyone know the landscaping at 77th Street barricade that has been gone for the last 10 years is getting replaced, should be imminent. So that's going to happen so that there's visual blockage of Biscayne Boulevard. They haven't had that in a few years. And also there are going to be trees planted on 8th Avenue. Mike Pacifico, one of our neighbors, spearheaded that process, and that's either already in process or imminent, about to happen. So we'll get some more shade.
What block of 8th Avenue?
8th Avenue where?
8th Avenue toward the pump station. There's an area where there's not a lot of tree coverage. So he spoke with neighbors that live there that agreed to have trees planted on the swale. And so that's been going on for a few months now, and the city is getting ready to plant those.
Oh, the city is going to plant?
And who is the guy who did that? The reason I'm asking, Ann, is because we have a block in our neighborhood that's pretty bare on one side too. You know, I notice when I'm walking with my dog, because the pavement is hot and there's just no shade. It's like on the east side between 74th and 73rd, that whole area there, I think at the most it might have like a little skinny palm, but I don't know, maybe I could talk to him, or, you know,
sure.
See what he did to get the ball rolling, and maybe that would be something to consider doing.
It took quite a while. I can get you in touch with him. I can also get you in touch with the gentleman from the city, because what needs to happen is whoever lives at that location has to agree to that.
Give permission, right?
And
that's
that's
two houses. There are only 2 houses on the block.
right. So
Right.
I can get you in touch with the city on that.
Oh, okay, that would be great. Thank you.
Does anyone have a problem with mosquitoes?
Yes.
Because I was told to call 311 by a truck that I saw at the neighbors across the street. And I called them and they said, oh yes, someone will come in the next 2 days. Well, that was 2 weeks ago. I haven't seen them. Have you?
I've had pretty good success when I've used them before. I do 311, but I also keep you can either do it online or you can call in, but ask for the ticket number. And that way, if they don't.
I was given a ticket number, but nobody ever showed up here as far as I know. They didn't, if they came, they, you know, they didn't do anything. You know, I would assume they would put a hanger on your door or something if they came here to do service. The day I saw them.
About the ticket number, because I've had an incident before where they were supposed to come, but they went to the next street over on 77, because mine is 72576 and they went to 72577. They treated there. So that's why I'm saying, if you have a ticket number, if you call 311 back, they can let you know.
I'll look for it again.
Yeah.
Because
and they have been very proactive. Typically, if you call them, they definitely come out within the 2 or 3 days, and they were very thorough.
But they never showed up.
Okay.
So I'll look for the ticket number again now, or just start over again if I can't find it.
Yeah, and if you start over again, like I said, they have been very good about being out within the 2 to 3 days, and they're very thorough. They'll walk through your entire yard with you, show you any issues, any potential issues.
So obviously they contacted you when they got there, which means they haven't been here for sure. I thought maybe they came and did something and left and didn't leave any notification.
No,
but
absolutely not. They walk the property with you.
And where is your property?
I'm 725 76th Street.
Okay, so you're several blocks away from me. But the place where I saw them was right across the street at 986 73rd.
Okay.
Just call them again.
moving on, we don't have our director of finance with us, so those updates on the financials will be in the meeting minutes. Infrastructure updates. I let everyone know on the chat because the topic was hot that we are waiting on the installation of speed bumps on 76th Street. And I'd also requested an additional study of the neighborhood for speeding and for potential more speed bumps or other ways to slow traffic. And I'm waiting on that. So as everyone knows, things take a long time. The speed bumps are supposed to be imminent.
And
that could be happening soon. Yes, Tim.
Can I ask a question? So could you maybe walk us through what the process is? Because in the past, there's been an awful lot of turmoil over speed bumps. And my understanding is that in order to get the ball moving, and I may be completely wrong, that's why I'm wondering. First, you have to have a petition that's signed by something like 10% of the homeowners on the street. And then the city will do the study. And then I think there was some sort of requirement that at least 25%, or again, these are, I'm not 100% sure, of the homeowners involved have to agree to the speed bumps. And so I just want to, again, I think this has the potential for being an area that.
Yeah, I think we've already been through that. We've addressed that in several meetings. They had 100% compliance with the neighbors that wanted the speed bump. Olga and Felipe were involved. They got that project going. It's been through the city. The city has approved it, and we're at the point now where they're doing the installation. Also,
and I understand that perfectly. I'm just asking about additional.
And that other person, the Globetrotters, is it possible to mute them because they keep popping up every time? Okay, got it.
So I just want to know what the procedure is, because if we're going to see them proliferate throughout the neighborhood, I'd like to, know what is involved.
All right, I would suggest that maybe you reach out for Albert Moore, because that process changes from time to time. That was a city mandated process. They told us how that process was going to run. They pretty much gave us a checklist, and then we followed that checklist. But again, that's been 2 years in the making. So I think it would be best to speak with Albert and see what the current process is. And if it's the same, he can give you a checklist. And that way, you know exactly how the process is supposed to run.
Okay, that sounds good. Thank you.
So hopefully those will be installed soon. There's a broken gate at 77th Street. It's been broken for a long time, weeks now. The city is aware and is in the process of securing a contractor. They also just let me know by email, and I'm going to put this out on the chat group and on the Google group, that they have apparently seen people forcefully opening the gates beyond their design ability in order to get their carts, golf carts, scooters, etc. through. This intentional damage and misuse is the main reason that a few of the gates are not holding up as expected. So we're going to let everyone know to be, more mindful with the pedestrian gates. City also said otherwise we may have to consider removing them. That sounds a little bit like a threat to me, but I am gonna send out messages asking people to be gentle with the gates, I guess, and not open them beyond their ability, and hopefully we won't have that kind of issue again. But
are they wide enough for a golf cart, Ann?
They said, and I don't know how they saw that, but they basically said folks have been seen forcefully opening gates beyond their ability to open in order to get their carts, golf carts, scooters, etc. through them. I know that delivery people on scooters will go through these gates. I don't know that that does anything bad to them. I don't like it because, you know, they should be riding their scooters through the main entrance and not through these pedestrian gates. But that's about it. I haven't seen anyone else, you know, putting golf carts through.
Okay.
Okay, so that was the email from Chris Bennett that I got, sort of with the threat at the end that they're gonna uninstall them, remove them if we keep, you know, abusing them. So I'm gonna send this out just to let neighbors know, and hopefully it'll be repaired soon because it's been a long time. The other infrastructure update I have is that the noise enclosure for the pump station generator is also in the works, but it could take a few months for that to happen. So they have to go through their whole bureaucratic process of getting approval, getting the money, getting the contractor, so getting the materials, and everything always just takes a long time, but it's in the process.
All right, just so we're aware, and I'll give you a little update. I had spoken with Dave Johnson, who did a design for that before, and he is going to be resubmitting a new design to the city within the next 2 weeks.
Okay.
And that should significantly reduce that time period for them to be able to find a vendor, which he is one of the vendors to be able to do that work. So I think it's going to be substantially less than a year. But again, you know how it works with the city, but he has a design and that's what his business is. So.
Okay, all right. Well, as long as it can be done, you know, as soon as possible. And then actually I wanted to follow up with them on do you know anything about the work that they've been doing on the actual pumps with the valves being damaged?
Not beyond the little brief email that you shared with us.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And, I guess we're going to need an update at this point because I was curious. I didn't get an opportunity to swing by there today, but I was curious to see how that performed with all the rain we had today.
Yes, I haven't heard anything about any flooding. I imagine Mary Beth would have told us if there were any issues or other neighbors. Okay. Courtney, do you know if 72nd Street flooded today?
It wasn't actually as bad as it usually is, so
okay.
It's a good sign.
Yeah. Good. Yeah. And the one
you see the comment in the chat about the School of Chickens from Globetrotter. I'm not sure who that is, but.
Yes, I saw that. Anyone besides us having issues with peacocks and schools of chickens sleeping in front of your house? I imagine they live on 72nd, because that's where all the peacocks and chickens live.
Hello.
Hello.
Hi, how are you, everybody?
Hi.
Hello.
Good. Yes, my name is Josbel. I live right next to Debbie. I don't know if anybody knows Debbie Hess. So the chickens, yes, ma'am. They're on 72nd Terrace. And it was a nice thing at the beginning, and the peacocks, it was just one or two. Now we have like, I think I counted 11 peacocks sleeping in front of our house in that tree. And we have about 19 to 20 chickens. And it's just out of control now. We can't keep up our yards. We just have brand new neighbors. They just moved next to us, a very nice couple. And they were very concerned about it because they just redid the whole entire driveway and landscaping, and it's just a mess because the peacocks and the chickens, they're looking for food, of course. At one point, I tried to feed them. I think that was my error at the beginning 2 years ago, because there was just one or two of them. And then I stopped because I was like, oh my goodness, what is this? It's out of hand. So we're so tired of it, and we don't know what to do anymore. And they're so beautiful, beautiful creatures, but the chickens are just everywhere, and we don't know what to do. So I just decided, I'm like, well, let me jump in and see if anyone has any suggestions, or can they take them somewhere, or I don't know.
By chance, have you reached out to animal control?
I tried to. I talked to Debbie about it, but I think that they can't do anything about it.
I think they will address the issue of the chickens. I think the peacocks are in a gray zone where it may be an issue with removing them. Just from the stuff I've heard from my stores.
Where did these peacocks come from?
What do you know?
We have no idea. It started with one or two. I'm sorry.
No, they were here suddenly. I couldn't even take my garbage can from my driveway this morning, my recycle bin, because a peacock was there with his big tail spread out, looking very fancy, but I was frightened to death.
Maybe a suggestion might be to put a little blast on the Google group to find out who owns it, because I know if animal control can't deal with it, maybe we can have a trapper relocate them. I know you can't destroy them, but you might be able to relocate them.
Well, they don't bother me. They just walk around. That I see them across the street on my neighbor's roof. I didn't think they could fly.
Yeah, I think the chickens are an issue.
Yeah.
Because the
I
chickens
didn't
are
know we had
multiplying.
in Belle Meade any chickens.
Well, the chickens are not allowed. I mean, it's a city ordinance that you can't have quote
A farm
unquote
animal.
barnyard animals in the city. So that you may either
Yeah.
animal control or maybe even code compliance. One of my neighbors behind me had some chickens at one point, just shortly before I moved in. And when I moved in, they weren't there anymore. And I was talking to him and he said, oh, somebody called code compliance on me. So, you know, either animal control or code compliance for the chickens. The peacocks, I know that residents in Coconut Grove had a big problem with them. And I remember at one point the city commission actually considered, you know, it went to the city commission and they adopted an ordinance that, you know, something about controlling peacocks, whether that was just for Coconut Grove or not, I'm not sure, but so we wouldn't be the first neighborhood to have that kind of a problem. And maybe animal control can give you some advice on that front as well. Animal services.
Well, they don't do anything. They just walk around. And
The peacocks can be a bit destructive. If you've been reading the information from Miami Shores, they've been pretty destructive to the cars and houses, and you know, and they can be very aggressive.
they have only been here a very short time, isn't they? I only started seeing them about 9 months ago, maybe not even that long.
I think they've been here for a few years.
Yeah.
3 of them were on my carport the other day, tap dancing.
So did we help you a little bit there? I forget your name, Globetrotter.
Yes, ma'am. My name is Josvo, by the way. Thank you so much. I'll try to seek any, other help, because they could be very pretty destructive. And also the poop, brings a lot of flies.
Right.
And then I've noticed a bunch of flies in the house. I'm like, I'm not even barbecuing outside. So, and then of course, when I'm cleaning my front of the yard, the driveway, I just see all the poop everywhere, and this just covered with flies from the peacocks and chickens. So it's just out of hand.
Who brought them there? Who brought the chickens?
We have no idea. It started with, like I said, 2 years ago. I think we noticed 2 peacocks, and then the chickens with I don't know. It's just out of hand now.
Yeah.
Keep us up.
The peacocks came from Bayside. They flew over. I think it was one of the, we had like a thunderstorm or something, I recall, but they started showing up on 72nd, and it started with 1, and now we have like a family of 7.
Right, I've seen them.
But yeah,
multiply.
I even have named one of them Napoleon, because it's the one that comes frequently to my house to eat my bird food. But they're beautiful to look at. I'm sure they were very annoying, but every nice, expensive neighborhood has peacocks. So it's a nicely decoration. So I will be more than happy to go and hose down your poop.
I throw some bleach sometimes on it, but still.
They're very regal. They're very regal. You see them in the Palace at Versailles and places like that.
Yeah, they're very spiritual, and it's new beginnings, and they're good luck. So maybe you have a lot of good luck lately, especially with your house values going up, right?
Right.
Amen.
Grace, this is down your alley, but can they be fixed?
I don't know. I really don't know. That's a really good question.
I saw 3 of them. He was trying to attract them and they weren't even interested.
Maybe fakes.
The other day, the male was dancing around and shaking his tail feathers and doing everything, and the 3 just kept walking by him.
Well, it looked like it worked a few times, so
Yeah, the good thing is I think there's only one female, so that's a really good thing.
Oh,
So if
no,
we
by
can
me, I,
capture her.
I can send you pictures of 3 of them right on my driveway. They come by every morning to nosh and do whatever they do. Eat worms, I
Oh
think.
my goodness.
And there's
Okay,
only
guys, I have
one
to
male.
leave. I'm sorry. This has been a very
Have a good
informative
night.
meeting. Thank you all. Good
Okay.
night. Bye-bye.
We only have one
Okay.
topic left. Walt, do you have any updates from FPNL since last month?
No, other than the one property on 72nd Terrace, they have I think they finalized an agreement with the property owner there with that vacant property, where they're going to try to place the pole on the adjacent property. Again, it was an issue with capacity. There were just too many lines feeding in that particular area, and they kind of needed it where it was, but they've agreed to send it back to engineering, and I think they've made an agreement with the young lady to be able to place it on an adjacent property. So
Weren't they gonna try to do underground wiring here? They sent out a whole big thing and then they never came back.
that's another issue for another day, but we were not going to be able to address that tonight.
Yep.
It's a very convoluted process, and the bottom line is the agreement that we have, they're going to improve the lines on 72nd and 73rd for now. And there may be a project in the future to do the underground, but not now.
72nd and 73rd?
Correct.
And what are they gonna do there? Try to put another pole in or something?
Oh, no, if you've been watching, they've replaced a number of poles. You'll see cranes and everything going in. They've replaced the lines. They've had the drones flying over because they had to trim all the trees. That was the first part of the project. And now they're replacing the poles, transformers, and they're pulling new wire. So we should have the era of us losing power every time somebody blinks should be passed. And hopefully this hurricane season we'll get to test that.
Good. Well, I never saw them doing that. I just know that when Hurricane Wilma came, I left my house actually for a long time because a pole completely broke and fell in the yard. And that's when I moved out and went back to my mother's house in Bay Point, and I never came back till she passed away. So I was gone from 2005 to 2011. I would just come and pick up my mail and do other things. But, yeah, there's so much wiring above my house. It's unbelievable.
Okay, that's all I had, Ann.
Yep, I don't have anything else on the other agenda. We went through everything. I appreciate all the neighbors tuning in and having discussions with us and hearing the update, and the meeting minutes will be going out within a week or so. Okay. Have a good night, everyone. Thanks for joining.
Thank you, Ann.
Thank you for the meeting and for keeping this up.
Thanks for joining, Patty. Talk to you
Well,
soon.
I'm glad I finally got an email.
Yes.
I don't know
Bye-bye.
why I never got
Yeah,
it before.
Patty, it's good to see you. I was emailing you. I guess you never received the
I
invite,
may
or
have
maybe it
given
was
you
in your
an
junk.
email. I may have given you an email that I don't have anymore, Courtney. I don't know.
Yeah, I think it bounced back.
One of my
every time.
emails, Google wouldn't allow me to have again on my new phone. So I only have the one that's the Gmail one, and you may have the old AOL one.
I do.
Okay, that's why. This one is patcake77gmail.com.
Oh, okay. I'll change it.
Do you have a phone number you can call me? Then I'll give it to you. If you have my phone number.
I believe we do.
I think so. I think I gave it to you
Yeah.
when I met
Yeah,
you
I
at a
do.
homeowners meeting a long time ago.
I know. And I do have a question. Do you think we're ever going to meet in person at Legion Park again?
I don't know. I don't think we've discussed it. I think this has been very convenient for everyone. I know it'd be much harder for me to go to Legion Park right now. But you know.
Well, we will have to do in December for the annual meeting. That one has to be in person.
Okay.
And there's some housekeeping that has to be done. So I guess we'll be evaluating this month by month, but we will definitely have to have a meeting in December.
Will we be able to use Legion Park again?
Yeah, Legion Park, we've had a couple of meetings with the commissioner there. So it is open for the public and there's no mask requirement. But although I wear my mask, it's up to individual people whether you wear a mask.
Yeah,
in
wear my mask everywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm vaccinated, but maybe you aren't. That's my attitude.
Exactly. Okay. So we should keep that in mind because I could completely like stop thinking about in-person meetings. This has been so convenient, but yes, we may need to resume that at some point. In addition with Zoom, because I think a lot of the neighbors at Zoom, remember, we never had anyone attending. Patty came and then another neighbor.
Very few people ever came to the meeting, and even in the very beginning when I first lived here, I would come to meetings, but we would have speakers. We had the political speakers come and speak there at the Legion Park and things. So sometimes we did get a larger group.
Right, but very rarely. So I feel like the most we've had people attend was really over the last year or so since we've done Zoom meetings because it's just so much more convenient. People don't have to go anywhere.
That last meeting I was at, I think there were 6 people there.
Yep.
There were 2 people in the audience and the board.
Right. So I wrote it down and, at the latest, I guess the annual December meeting, and then, it can be discussed by the board, and then there'll be a new board anyway, starting next year, so.
I have a question.
Yes.
Do you have any plans to start having like in-person events again?
Say that again?
Do we have any plans to have any in-person events?
We also have not discussed that. It's a good point. I think we should aim for at least one by the end of the year.
The bazaar was so successful.
Yeah.
So we should really think about, getting the community together again in some form. I mean, that was a great idea and everybody set up and we were all social distancing and.
Yeah, I think that was kind of something that's been on the back of my mind. I think we'll probably have something in August when everyone gets ready to send their kids back to school. And then probably something for the holidays, whether it's early December or something like that before.
We've always had a holiday party for the children. You're not doing that anymore?
Well, we didn't do it last year because of COVID, right?
Yeah.
Couldn't do anything in person, Patty, because of COVID.
Okay.
And kids are still not vaccinated, but I think at this point, outdoor get-togethers feel relatively safe. So I think we should definitely consider it. We just need people doing the work. Okay, but if we decide to do that, then I think we need to send out, a call for volunteers on the Chatter group and Google group and hope that people are willing to help.
Well, I think we have to get a commitment to help or else we won't do that. It's a lot of work to put on these social events and for 2 or 3 people to be doing everything is just not fair. So when we're gonna put something on the website and maybe send something out on a Google group, and I think we should probably start thinking about that now rather than later. And that way we can let people know that we're going to be expecting volunteers for these 2 projects.
Yeah. Well, I put it on the, I just jotted it down. It'll be in the meeting minutes. And then maybe we can put it on the agenda for next month's meeting and make a plan, 1 or 2, and then call, then try to organize a committee. Okay.
I'm sure Lisa and Sean would want to be involved. They did such a great job.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
For sure. Okay. All right, everyone.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Good night, everyone.
Have a good night.
Good night.
Good night.
Everyone.